A very good evening and welcome to BCN News. Concerns have been raised by some public servants in relation to not being covered by any superannuation scheme since 2016. Some public servants are saying that it is unfair for some public servants not to be covered for this long. One public servant who's been in the service for around 30 years says that he is covered under the GSF scheme and his wife is under the ASB scheme. He told BCN News that the schemes don't offer the same terms and conditions and said the next scheme should ensure consistent terms and conditions. He believes the government should be looking at establishing a national superannuation fund which should include the private sector. Ida Hekesi, former president and current board member of the Niue Chamber of Commerce, supports this view. She said that the private sector is growing the economy and it's not fair that only public servants are covered under superannuation while the growing number of employees in the private sector are not. The government is currently working on a new superannuation scheme, but there is no comment as to whether this new scheme will be a national superannuation scheme to include employees of the private sector as well. BCN News is awaiting information on how many public servants employed since 2016 are not covered under a superannuation. The Assembly was held yesterday with discussions around accountability and transparency of government administering of funds that are appropriated. Opposition Member of Parliament Olaf Jacobson questioned the government over the outstanding audit of the government accounts. The last audited accounts of the Niue government was for the 2013-2014 financial year. BCN News spoke to Audit New Zealand Director Kelly Rushton and team leader of the Audit New Zealand team, who have been on the island for a few weeks. He confirmed that the last complete audited set of accounts for the Niue government was for the 2013-2014 financial year and that they are close to completing the audit for the 2014-2015 financial years. When asked why the audits are overdue, Rushton says that there are a variety of reasons for this and that Audit New Zealand will be presenting a status report to the Assembly in the next few weeks. He said that Audit New Zealand presented a status report to the Assembly in July 2018. Kelly says that they are progressing with the remaining outstanding audits. The Premier and Minister Billy Talangi confirmed to the Fono Eke Pule yesterday that the Niue government has secured the services of international accounting firm Deloitte to assist the government complete the government's financial accounts. Jacobson also suggested more transparency with SOE audit reports. Currently, only Cabinet appropriates funds for SOEs. Under the Niue Philatelic and Numismatic Act 2011, SOEs are only responsible to Cabinet. This came about after the amendment to the Act, but previously parliamentary oversight was included in the original 1996 Act.
The purpose of putting the motion in is to be able to get us thinking on the lines that, even though we have surrendered our powers as lawmakers to Cabinet, there are still ways for Cabinet to account and to be transparent about their practice. And that's all that we've ever asked for. And today in the House, there had been support that, yes, it would be good to do that. And they also recognise that this is not the first time these things have happened. And of course, audits in Niue can't be done. They can't be completed until state-owned enterprises furnishes their part of the requirement.
Opposition MP Terry Coe says government departments should not be blamed for overspending as Treasury is responsible for authorising use of funds. Coe made the response to PAC chairperson Florence Melekitama during the Assembly yesterday. He says Treasury needs to provide accounts to the auditors.
How can a department overspend when Treasury is controlling their money and give the authorisation? The problem is with the SOEs. there's no control over the spending. And, we've heard that they've made making a big deficit, which is hurting the whole country. And we shouldn't be blaming the public servants who go under Treasury for their accounts and for the authorisation of monies. And to me, those accounts are all right. It is Treasury that needs to provide those accounts to the auditors, and then that will keep the auditors happy on that field. But they can't do that for the SOEs because the SOEs haven't got any accounts, and that's causing a big problem.
During the robust discussions in the Assembly yesterday, the Premier called Terrico a liar, to which the opposition MP raised a point of order.
Well, he does that all the time, but we keep on bringing the same subject up every year about the accounts and providing the financial statements. We've had no financial quarterly statement from the Treasury, so we don't know where the accounts are. And the PAC meeting has also said that they haven't received it. So, I may be a liar, but the proof is in the pudding. If you produce the results, then we can find out the truth of what is happening in the departments.
Ko added he is hoping for a vote of no confidence next year. And at the last meeting of the Whono Eke Pule for the year, the members unanimously voted in favour of Honourable Vainga Tukuitonga's motion for the government to review the dog control laws. Georgia Tuhipa with this report.
The member for Alofi North said that the increasing number of feral dogs on the island is a real concern, particularly when they cause injury to the members of the public. Honourable Tofuapuletama from Makefu said that the dogs are useful animals for hunting purposes, and he admitted to keeping dogs for this purpose and agreed that the increasing numbers is now a problem that needs to be addressed. Common Roll member Terry Coe suggested that perhaps it's time to set a limit to the number of dogs for each household to 2. Another Common Roll member, Stan Kalauni, agreed with all the comments, and he acknowledged and commended the work of the Rock Vets, a group of volunteer vets from New Zealand, and the work they do in trying to de-sex as many of the dogs on the island to control the growth of the dog population. The meeting unanimously supported the motion, but it remains to be seen when the government will undertake to update dog control laws. This is Georgia Tuhipa for BCN News.
And that's BCN News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Have a safe weekend.